more on this. We're joined by Joe Siracusa. He's an author and also a professor of security and diplomacy at Curtin University and joins us now live from Melbourne. Welcome to you. This incredible statistic of at least 10 mass shootings over the Easter weekend in the US, how do you react to such a figure?
Well, I'm repelled by it. Thank you, Maria. Look, these mass shootings, I think they're 4 or 5 people at a time. They're part of a wide, broad band of gun violence in the United States and gun deaths. You have to understand, though, that these attempts to restrict guns have been very difficult for 2 reasons. Number one is that American guns, the attitude towards guns is deeply ingrained in American culture and society. And the other part is that it's deeply ingrained in modern political debates. So it's become politicized to a certain extent. But keep in mind that the Second Amendment of the Constitution of the United States allows every American to have guns, to bear arms. I don't know if the original founders meant that exactly, but that's been used by people over the years. And of course, anybody who's ever seen an old American Western understands the American love affair with the Winchester rifle. I mean, Americans won their independence from Britain with violence. They conquered the West with violence, and they don't want to give up those guns. And I grew up on the south side of Chicago, which is one of the great killing zones in the United States today, and those guns cannot be restricted. Now, here's a very interesting statistic that some of your viewers might know, is that there are 50,000 more gun dealers in the United States than there are McDonald's. There are 14,000 McDonald's and 64,000 gun dealers.
Say that again, Joe. That's a great statistic.
Okay. There are 50,000 more gun dealers in the United States, gun shops, than there are McDonald's.
Okay.
There's 64,000 gun dealers or gun shops and 14,000 McDonald's.
Okay.
And at the right time of day, you could probably buy a gun quicker than you could buy a Big Mac.
That's a very memorable statistic. Easier to buy, possibly easier to buy. Well, not easier, but you can buy the same way a gun. You can buy a Big Mac. Is that?
Well, yes, ma'am. You can go to a gun show in Virginia and just buy a gun with cash and out you go. It's access or restriction that the policymakers are trying to do. They're trying to make it harder to buy a gun.
Joe, let's talk about the policy, because Joe Biden, the Democrats, when they pledged to really do something about gun violence. What has been done so far? Have they achieved anything meaningful?
No, not really. Well, half of Americans believe there should be some controls. Half of those people believe that restricting access will not lower the death rates at mass shootings or gun violence in the United States. They don't have any faith in the ability of the federal government to restrict these things. These people who are opposed to gun violence, the same number, 48%, oppose the cost of the federal budget, legislation, health legislation, immigration, and all the rest of it. These people are very skeptical that would work. But, even those that want restrictions, and look, to you and me, it seems simple. You want to buy a gun, you got to tell people who you are and wait for a check and all the rest of it. But for most people, that's considered a violation of their privacy and their independence and all the rest of it. And the other half of Americans don't believe it's going to stop the level of deaths. I mean, believing in gun laws is like believing that sanctions will stop people from killing each other halfway around the world. And that doesn't work so well either.
Joe Siracusa, great to have you on the program. Thank you so much for your time and analysis on this very, very important subject of US gun violence.